FM. Twese hamwe birashoboka.
We got you updated. This is Radio Manzi News in English. We got you updated. This is Radio Manzi News in English.
You are tuned to Radio Imanzi, broadcasting from Kigali. Here is the news in English, brought to you by Fiona Umuganwa. The headlines. President Paul Kagame says technology and innovation are shaping Rwanda's vision of economic revolution. General James Kabadebe says Rwanda's peace and stability is key for the private sector to accelerate socio-economic development and propel the country to its growth ambitions. Tanzania's softened borders with Kenya has resulted in the growth of businesses in both countries. News in detail. President Paul Kagame says technology and innovation are shaping Rwanda's vision of economic revolution. The president was talking at a ceremony of awarding the youth that were able to deliver remarkable innovative technology projects.
Technology and innovation are driving Rwanda's transformation. Not enough yet. So that's why I want more of it. I want to do more. Because if you want to drive the economy based on knowledge, which is very important, and by the way, which is available in any part of the world you go to. It just depends on how you are ready to tap into that. The difference will be made by how you focus on it, you invest in it, and see it with that importance it holds. In all advanced economies, eventually, which we want ours to be, the linkages between universities and entrepreneurship are deep and productive. In Africa, it's not going to be any different.
Google recently recognized Rwanda in the category of African countries that have invested heavily in technology with a view to achieving productivity of using technology in the future. Kimenyi Aimable, the second vice president of the Private Sector Federation, says according to this report by Google, the development of technology is mainly based on investment of knowledge rather than finance.
We have good internet, education. There is a lot of done so far, and we have Carnegie Mellon, we have University of Rwanda, which is pushing so hard. We have Coding Academy in Nyabihu, which is really tackling this journey, but it's not enough. It's not enough. We need also in the report they are asking business. And I'm lucky I've been second chair in PSF. We are going to ask like all businesses to participate, because they are saying we need to connect network. We need to network with those young people to tell them what is really needed on the market. So I'm going to work with my colleagues in the chamber to try to see how we can give the maximum networking with those young people.
In a similar development, FabLab Rwanda has announced a partnership with a Dubai-based technology company, Acumake, to build a factory in Rwanda, which will be in charge of assembling high-quality machines that will be used to manufacture various equipment used in 3D printing technology. This is going to boost digital manufacturing capacity in Rwanda because importing the machines and equipment is very expensive. With the help of 3D technology and knowledge he acquired from FabLab Rwanda, James Ndikizimana managed to develop wireless chargers.
So far we have, there's some current we already start to supply. For example, as you see here, it is FabLab Cafe, where we have already started to install them. They are already using the system, and they really have the good feedback for it, because since they start to use it, some complaints of their client have been solved, and also they are happy because they no longer be worried for where they can supply the devices, no worries for their device to drain out for the power. So after accessing this technology, they even also allow them to continue their daily activities and also keep going, getting the interest. So so far we have also some demands or customers that request also they need it. For example, as my ICT or Ministry of Youth, even there's some organization and private companies also request us that they really need this technology.
Denny Bizimana, the general manager at FabLab Rwanda, pointed out there is a need for these manufacturing machines in all sectors.
So the significance of this is that all industries that has been shipping equipments from outside, all labs that we are going to install the country, we are not going to ship them from outside. We are going to get the machines locally. So that means the price is going to decrease of the cost of the machine. The price of spare parts that we normally ship from outside, from the US, from China, we are going to be getting them locally. I think these machines are needed in a digital manufacturing industry of Rwanda, as our government is always to strive, is always encouraging the country to increase technology, to be smart in everything that we do. So we need all these computer-controlled machines in every sector.
Bizimana also noted that there are centers called Hanga Pub that provide the youth with this knowledge in districts like Musanze, Rwamagana and Huye. He said there is a plan of increasing the number of such centers not later than this year, and all these places are in need of machines with the 3D technology. Rwanda aims to build a knowledge-based economy and be a technological hub in the region. General James Kabadebe, the senior security advisor to the president, says Rwanda's peace and stability is key for the private sector to accelerate socio-economic development and propel the country to its growth ambitions. General Kabadebe made the remarks today during the Private Sector Federation Leadership Induction Retreat. Kabadebe told the PSF leaders from local to national level that the private sector is well positioned to lead the country's next phase of development, but not yet aggressive to use power and opportunities availed by the government. The retreat is organized under the theme Rwanda's Liberation Journey, Role of the Private Sector. Kabadebe reminded the participants that the aim of liberating Rwanda was to launch a journey of socio-economic transformation, adding that the private sector contributed a lot to the struggle and should sustain the fight against poverty. Robert Bafakurera, the chairman of PSF, urged the private sector to tap into investment opportunities that are available both on the local and international markets. He noted that there are opportunities, but they have not been exploited to the maximum. The private sector should closely work with banks to get capital to boost their businesses. It should develop made in Rwanda brands that can sell on the international market. He made the case for learning from one another among business people, adding that study tours across the country and beyond will bring the much-needed partnerships and exposure to expand businesses and investments. A former senior Rwandan official has gone on trial in Paris, accused of complicity in the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, the most senior figure yet to face justice in France over the genocide. The trial of Laurent Wikibaruta, which opened today, is expected to last 2 months and feature more than 100 witnesses, including survivors from Rwanda who have flown over or will appear via video conference. The case of Wikibaruta is the fourth from the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi to come to court in France, which had long been under pressure from activists to act against suspected perpetrators who had taken refuge on French soil. Genocide survivors who live at Impingazima Center in Nyamata Sector, Bugesera District, received free treatment in a medical drive organized by Medical Volunteers Organization, MVO. Elderly survivors residing at the center, along with other locals, received medical checkups and treatment at Bugesera Hospital for the different ailments they were suffering from. The medical outreach is an annual event that brings together medical doctors and specialists from different hospitals to find patients in different hospitals and offer treatment in their hometowns. MVO has 200 doctors who have always volunteered to be part of this activity for the past 3 years, and this time over 400 patients with different cases have been treated under this outreach. Esperance Kantarama, a survivor and one of the patients who were attended to at the Impingazima Center, commended the team for bringing health services closer to them. Alexis Mutangana, a doctor at King Faisal and a member of MVO, says that some of the patients don't have the means to access treatment for some of diseases. This is an opportunity for all the elderly to get treatment, especially for the survivors who have chronic pain due to the trauma and hardships they passed through. Mutangana says it is not about the numbers of those attended to, but rather the acts of reaching out to help solve some of the problems in society, especially in their field as doctors. He went on and called on to other medics to join the drive and give back to the community. A delegation of 42 general and senior officers, students from Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Nigeria, is in Rwanda for a study tour. The delegation, led by Brigadier General Ibrahim Bando, today visited RDF headquarters, where they received a presentation on RDF transformation journey.
Some items of international news on Radio Imanzi.
Welcome back. Somali President Mohamed Abdullahi, also known as Farmajo, has announced his candidacy for a second term. Last Thursday, the parliamentary committee in charge of organizing the election announced that presidential elections will be taking place on May 15th. President Farmajo's mandate ended in February last year, but he stayed on amid a delay in the holding of parliamentary elections. Polls closed today to elect a new president in the Philippines, with the son of former President Ferdinand Marcos the favorite to win the race. This comes nearly 40 years after his father was deposed by a popular revolt and the family chased into exile. Egypt's public prosecutor has ordered that 13 teenage boys arrested over the weekend remain in custody. The boys have been accused of harassing 2 women tourists at the Giza pyramids near Cairo. The arrest came after a video surfaced on social media showing a crowd of boys swarming around 2 young women at the famous archaeological site, one of Egypt's top tourist attractions. Congolese football is mourning the death of one of its own, Jody Lukoki, who died in unknown circumstances at the weekend. His former clubs, Ajax and 20, confirmed this on social networks with the poignant messages of condolence. The native of Kindu, the capital of the Maniema province, was 29 years old. Trained in the Netherlands at the legendary Ajax school in Amsterdam, he started out in the red and white colors and was quickly compared to Nigerian Finidi George. The summer movie season is off to a blockbuster start, thanks to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. According to Walt Disney Co., the superhero extravaganza grossed an estimated $185 million in ticket sales in its first weekend in US and Canadian theaters. Internationally, it's doing even better with an estimated $265 million since opening Wednesday in total. In total, Doctor Strange 2 has already made $450 million.
Economic news is a regular feature on Radio Imanzi.
Tanzania's softened borders with Kenya, reduced non-tariff barriers, and solutions to bilateral issues have resulted in the growth of businesses in both countries a year after President Samia Suluhu took office. Data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics Economic Survey 2022 shows that Tanzania's exports to Kenya doubled in just 10 months. Before President Samia's tenure, the two countries had a number of spats on trade matters, with Dar es Salaam looking inward and imposing restrictions on trade with Kenya. The survey shows that the pandemic notwithstanding, Kenya imported more goods during the past year than before from Tanzania. The report says Kenya's economy grew by 7.5%, the highest rate since 2010, and more than 20 times the rate of 0.3% recorded at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Moving on ahead with the Rwanda Stock Exchange Market Report. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 11,078,780 Rwandan francs worth of bonds traded in 2 deals on the fixed income market and 152,600 Rwandan francs from 1,100 shares traded in 2 deals on the equities market. I&M closed the counter at 443 Rwandan francs. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 8,600 Rwandan francs from 200 shares traded in 1 deal. Bralirwa closed the counter at 160 Rwandan francs. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 144,000 Rwandan francs from 900 shares traded in 1 deal. Bank of Kigali closed the counter at 260 Rwandan francs. Simerwa at 120 Rwandan francs, MTN Rwanda at 179 Rwandan francs, Equity Bank at 440 Rwandan francs, Kenya Commercial Bank at 370 Rwandan francs, National Media Group at 1,200 Rwandan francs, Uchumi Supermarket at 104 Rwandan francs, and RH Buffalo closed the counter at 526 Rwandan francs as the market closed. The currency market review of today. The Kenyan shilling buying price was 8.7 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 8.8 Rwandan francs. Tanzanian shilling buying price was 0.43 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 0.44 Rwandan francs. Ugandan shilling buying price was 0.283 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 0.289 Rwandan francs. Burundian franc buying price was 0.49 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 0.5 Rwandan francs. The US dollar buying price was 1,010 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 1,030 Rwandan francs. The British pound buying price was 1,240 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 1,265 Rwandan francs. The euro buying price was 1,061 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 1,082 Rwandan francs. With that, we come to the end of tonight's edition.